We live in a world full of doubts. These are unexplained. But will it? Unfortunately, we are still immersed in many limiting beliefs that prevent us from evolving our consciousness to understand the world around us. Some believe that we came from apes, that through years of genetic evolution we arrived at the human being as we know it today. We have those who believe we came from space, that an interstellar rock came from another galaxy bringing with it a cell that gave rise to life here. A theory known as cosmic panspermia. We also have the scientific theory that points out that it all started with the explosion of the Big Bang, giving rise to life and everything we know in the universe. The theory most accepted by people is that the world was created by God, a deity endowed with goodness and mercy, who, in order to be worshipped, then decided to create the universe and everything in it. The creation of the world can easily be observed in the book of Genesis, as well as the moment when God breathed life into the nostrils of Adam, the first man to set foot on earth, thus composing the creationist theory. From there, many stories emerge over time, distorting and/or confusing the correct understanding of the facts. Are the stories we know really real? Who is right? Which theory actually proves our presence here on Earth? Well, according to the messengers of the dawn, a race of beings known as the Pleiadians, hailing from the Pleiades in the constellation of Taurus, the world and all beings were designed and created for their proper purposes. When Prime Creator created the world and everything around it in this galaxy, it filled beings with the essence of their consciousness, allowing life to spread throughout the world. Resemblance. I will not go into detail on this last point. But to analyze how much evidence and comparisons we can do with the information we have. We can see that people still cling to data found in the Bible, and how much their influence shapes thinking about the creation of the world. However, it is not so consistent to believe in the oldest book that humanity has, as it was written by men, not being directly a divine action of the Creator. The only evidence we have of the Creator's interaction with humanity was the giving of the Ten Commandments, laws that men should follow in order to live in conformity with God. If we look at older civilizations like the Aztecs, Mayans, Sumerians, etc., we can see much more concrete evidence about the origin of man. Cave paintings elucidate all the facts and characters in the course of history. According to the Pleiadians, the world was created by the primordial Creator, who split into other consciousness essences so that he could live different experiences. It also allowed other races to share their genes and knowledge in order to form a library of improved information stored in our genetics on Earth. Dividing into other parts, the primordial Creator allowed his people to also create other life experiences, other beings and races throughout the universe. So that beings could live the most diverse experiences, several realities and dimensions of different levels were created in order for evolution to occur. Returning to the cave paintings of ancient civilizations, they accurately demonstrate the presence of beings coming from the sky. Beings on alien ships. Beings walking among men. Beings delivering technologies to men. There is no way to disagree with these paintings, where civilizations that never met and did not know of each other's existence recorded the same illustrations as similar. When we speak of the creation of the earth and of men, we come to the understanding that a being of great power created them. Looking at Genesis, how things unfolded, we need to highlight another character named Quetzalcoatl. This was the god of the Aztecs and responsible for the creation of the world and of men. Quetzalcoatl received from his father, Tonacatecutli, the mission to finish the creation he had made. Thus, he set out to create the human race and form the earth. According to the story, Quetzalcoatl and his brother Tezcatlipoca needed to form the earth so that there was support capable of supporting life. So they fought with the goddess who inhabited the dome. And to attract her, Tezcatlipoca cut off his foot and threw it into the sea to attract the beast's attention. When the beast approached, they fought with all their strength and managed to defeat it. After the battle, the two brothers cut the beast into pieces which formed the continents as we know them today. Soon after the formation of the world, the next step was to create man. For this they used the sacred bones of their ancestors. They failed 4 times until they got the creation of man right, but in the end he managed to bring his father's wish to life when the work he had inherited was finished. In this video I will not go into much detail about Quetzalcoatl because the objective is to show the similarities that exist regarding the story that was told to us. Comparing Genesis with the Aztec god, we can see that there are many similarities in the facts that lead to the creation of the world and humanity. If we look at Norse mythology, we will see stories very similar to the previous one. All the characters considered as gods always came from the sky, alone or in their boats. In this way, feeding in all parts of the world countless different beliefs, but with the same plot. The Norse gods had a white appearance, blue eyes, long, blonde and long hair. Very similar to Jesus, isn't it? Which in fact are exactly the same appearance as the Pleiadians who came from other eras and dimensions to impart their knowledge and help humanity break free from this prison. Leaving aside the concept of how it all started, we have to understand that nothing is what it seems to be, and that not everything that has to be explained needs to be explained. The evidence is clear when we allow ourselves to accept that limiting beliefs block us from the truth. When the planet was created, the idea was that it was a place to share information in order to further evolve the consciousnesses present here. That's why when we hear the word free will, there are many vague interpretations about it. The primordial creator wanted the earth to be a place where there was freedom to do what he wanted without limitations or obstacles in the process of experiencing. Unfortunately, the planet was stolen from its creators and its captors turned it into a mental and conscious prison in order to satisfy their personal desires. In this way, our freedom was taken away and our free will distorted. In the beginnings of creation, the existing free will stemmed from being free to do what we wanted. However, a very important thing did not exist: duality. As soon as we were imprisoned, duality became part of our reality, making the experience even more volatile and arduous. Jumping to the present day, places like Antarctica, Bermuda Triangle, Gulf of Aden, Amazon Triangle, Pyramids of Giza, still hide many secrets that arouse curiosity and doubts about everything we've talked about so far. For us to live the experience, it was necessary to create a projection of reality. This reality we live in in which points such as the Amazon Triangle hide another dimension in which so many creators and/or cosmic civilizations inhabit. Have you ever wondered why so much secrecy in Antarctica? Why is this area so controlled so that no tourists are walking around? As demonstrated in the movie, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, humanity lived with one of the most important questions of its time. Know the meaning of life. To try to find a solution to the problem, they decided to create a computer with super intelligence so that it could give them the answer they had been dreaming about. We can see that even in fiction, humanity always seeks its answers in the unreachable, trying to justify its limitation of looking within itself as co-creators of the universe. When questioning the deep thinker about the meaning of life and everything else in it, artificial intelligence gave a deadline of 75 million years to perform the necessary calculations. At the end of that period, to the surprise of his questioners, the deep thinker gave them the most unexpected and ironic answer that could be had: 42. This was the answer to the meaning of life and everything that exists in the universe. It is remarkable the disappointment of the questioners when they receive such simple and absurd information. Why could something as complex as life and the universe be explained with numbers? Observing such affliction and looking at the present day, we can make an analogy with such a response and understand that everything that is complex before our eyes is extremely simple and tiny in the hands of the primordial creator. Browsing through Google Maps, we can see some very interesting images. The images that we will see below show symmetrical constructions under the ice of Antarctica. It is notable that the structures are not natural and have a lot of similarity with the usual constructions that we know. The structure looks a lot like a Great Wall or steps of a pyramid. It is not possible to be sure what it really is, due to the amount of ice that covers the structure. Looking at the buildings of ancient cities, they all had great walls that surrounded them to protect them from possible enemies. Almost all of them had the same shape, encircling the city and protecting its inhabitants. Pyramids usually have large blocks of stones, forming their conical structure. As we cannot see everything under the ice, it leads us to believe that they could be blocks of a pyramidal structure. We really don't know what's actually under the ice. But it really was an ancient city. Did this civilization really live there in Antarctica, in such hostile conditions? Or going further, when the world was a Pangea, could this portion of the continent have ended up at the planet's south pole and formed Antarctica? If the first condition is correct, we could say that this civilization was highly evolved and had technologies to live in a very hostile environment. How many secrets could such a civilization reveal? The second condition would be a little more complex, as the separation of the continents would be long and time-consuming, and would not put the inhabitants of an ancient civilization in such conditions overnight. And the time of their transformation would be enough for them to observe the changes in their habitat and to be able to look for other more viable and favorable options for their continuity. Looking at the images, we can see that this structure looks a lot like a gate or entrance to somewhere. Could it be the entrance to an underground environment where people or beings must live there in secret? The possibility would be very big, since the concept of hollow ground is still very favorable. Civilizations could still be living in the hollow earth and using these doors as outlets to the outside world. But that's a story for another video. Another possibility would be that this is a stargate for another galaxy. Just like in a wormhole, we could pass through this portal and reach the other side of the galaxy or even another multiverse dimension in a matter of seconds. When the initial creators developed the human race, we were complete and endowed with the divine essence. Since the beginning of time, humanity has been manipulated and indoctrinated to follow paradigms of control. Stopping being controllers of your life and forgetting your divinity. We are seeds of the primordial universe and endowed with unimaginable powers. Beings of infinite and multidimensional life. The only traces of our pure ancestors, the human race, were left in Antarctica and are still there today. After all, when we were imprisoned, they needed to create legends and more legends, so that these became our basis of faith and that could keep us limited in conscience and preventing us from knowing the truth about ourselves. We still need to talk more about the subject. We cannot limit ourselves to the little information we have. Expanding consciousness is the key to finding our real reason for being here and achieving the evolution we desire.